Hi guys, how's everyone doing? Good, I hope. Today I am reviewing Encens Flamboyant. Basically, flamboyant incense, it translates into English, but it doesn't actually mean that. It's by Annick Goutal, it's an Oriental, and it came out in 2007. Now, this brand is so quintessentially French. It started in the 80s. The fragrances, to me, are, I don't know, just real perfumery going on here. This is the real deal to me. I've tried probably about 5 to 10 of their fragrances. They've got about 60, so I'm only just dipping my toes into Annick Goutal territory. But everything I've smelled so far has been there's just been something really cool about them. It's very kind of throwback. Some of them are really modern. There's just a lot going on. So it's a really good niche brand to kind of dip your toes into if you haven't tried them already. The bottles are just so adorable as well. They have little bows on them. And anyway, yeah, this is Encens Flamboyant. Thanks to a reviewer on Fragrantica, I realised that it didn't mean flamboyant incense, because when I first read that, I kind of scratched my head and I thought, those aren't two words that I really put together, really. But I found out that the flamboyant part of it actually means kind of blaze or flame or burning, that kind of way. It comes from flambe or something like that. So it's not what you would immediately think. Gosh, it's so hot. Yeah, so this was a sample that I got a while ago. I've worn it quite a few times and it is just so surprising to me. This is real perfumery. This is craziness going on, I'm not gonna lie. And I'll read you a little bit about what I read about this. It says here, this is all about incense if you didn't gather that already. But this isn't the kind of Joss Sticks head shop kind of incense. We aren't talking about patchouli and things like that. We're talking about like patchouli head shop kind of smoky kind of thing. We're talking about frankincense mainly. We're talking about frankincense in its true form. We're talking about frankincense when it's in its resinous form, when it's still made out of tears, when it's still a gum, when it's still that kind of thing. Taking frankincense, stripping it bare and putting it into a fragrance. It's very, very interesting. And I will just say, this is the most resinous incense, yeah, it's the most resinous fragrance I think I've ever smelled in my life. Not saying it's pleasant by any means, we'll get to that in a minute, but it's very, very resinous and authentic and just feels just like something. Anyway, this says, a mystical, arousing and intense scent. It's an ode to frankincense, masterfully blended in 3 formats. Not just one, Annick Goutal. Go for 3, why not? Frankincense essence emerges first, a distillation of tears of frankincense. When they say tears, I don't know if you guys know much about frankincense, but I personally have watched documentaries on it before. It's kind of like a shrub, a plant thing that lives out in deserts and in remote little areas, and what people do is they go and slice the stems or the main branches, and it kind of bleeds this resin out, this very thick resinous kind of gloopy balsam kind of stuff, and they collect it all, they let it harden, and then they sell it to people, and people kind of smoke it from the raw ingredient. We're not talking about a frankincense joss stick, we're talking about the raw tears of frankincense being heated up and the aroma that they release. It's very, very distinct, and this is the closest you're going to get if you can't go to places where it's grown, basically. Yeah, so a distillation of tears of frankincense whose ethereal and mineral freshness evoke cold stone. I kind of get that from it. Black pepper and roseberry bring a pungency and edginess. Then comes frankincense resinoid, a warm, balmy scent steeped in precious spices, cardamom and nutmeg. Finally, vielle église, Frankincense, which is deliciously burnt and warmed by woody balsam fir. So there is a piney element going on here. There is a almost pine needly, tingly kind of thing going on as well. Welcoming and sweet, and pure extract of lentisque, which is also known as mastic. It's again another resin they've put into this, drawn from arid vegetation. It's also used in Keefi, the prized pharaonic perfume. Anyway, I could go on, really could. But for now, I'm going to tell you what this smells like, because it is, well, that's a very good description anyway. That description on their site is pretty much given the best description you can think of. But I want to give you my take on it. So anyway, here we go. Gosh, it's just so surprising, this. This is the type of perfume I feel that kind of crosses over into the unwearable territory a little bit. The overall feel of this when you first smell it is, yes, obviously it's very resinous. It feels very incensey in a very pure form. But what's most noticeable to me is the tone of it, and or the texture. And the tone and texture of this is something very fusty. It smells like dustiness. It's got a very dry, scratchy texture to it, and it smells to me like if you took a classic chypre and removed all of the florals out of it and then replaced it with resins. So it's got a very old school kind of throwback feel. It smells ancient to me, which is really cool, because when you want to go on a little perfume journey and you want to smell things from other times, this fragrance does it. It is in no way pleasant, and I will say that straight away. It's not the sort of thing you spray on and go, oh, I feel pretty today, or, you know, someone's not going to say, oh, you smell really, really gorgeous or sexy. It's kind of that much conceptualized that it kind of steps over the mark a little bit. But man, is it amazing in terms of what's going on in here, and the ingredients that are contained in this. It feels like it's just precious to me. You know, I've seen how they gather frankincense and the work that it takes and the journey they go on to get it to the markets it needs to go to. It's a whole lot of stuff. It really, really is. But it's very, very fusty, dusty, scratchy. Like I said, it's very dry. It's a very dry smelling fragrance. It's like the frankincense has literally just been taken from a market somewhere in a desert and put into a bottle. So weird. It smells, in terms of, you know, time span, like I said, it smells ancient, and in terms of perfumery, it smells classic. It smells vintagey. It doesn't smell modern at all, because it smells so real. How can it smell modern when it's taken from a process that's been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years? So it's really cool. I don't really get any kind of smokiness. I do get a kind of tree sappy kind of pine smell from it at the same time as it being very balmy, and it's kind of stuck between being masculine and a touch feminine. I would say it's probably just smack in the middle, really, if anything. God, it's so... I need to put it on my hand again. It's just so bizarre. It's spicy as well, but not obviously. The resins and stuff are so powerful in this that they really take over everything else that might have been there before, or that's supposed to be there. It's spicy, of course. There are some spices going on. It's not really smoky as such, but it does smell burnt. It doesn't really smell like the smoke that you would get from the frankincense that they're burning, but it does smell burnt, and the spices are getting overthrown by this whole balsamic, resinous kind of thing. So bizarre. Not something I think I would ever buy or wear. It's just a little bit to the left for me, but yeah, it stays like that for quite a while. It doesn't... You always get these kind of ins and outs of everything that I've mentioned before. Bit piney, bit planty in terms of tree sap, a little bit kind of smoky, but really it's just full on fusty desert resin. I can't really say much more about it than that. Anyway, I'm Arch on my logo. Click my logo to subscribe down there, and I'll see you guys soon for another review. Goodbye.